Yeah. Couldn't make it. Are we live? Right, but I'm just to let you know, my thing just jumped from counted down to 0, and now it says live in 6 minutes. On YouTube. Maybe I'm just going to refresh and see. Oh, okay, we're live. Yeah, Aaron had to back out last minute, unfortunately, and I don't know why yet, but he couldn't make it, so it's just us tonight. Back on YouTube. So, like, a lot of people are like, yeah, Rumble's great, it's fitting for you guys, it's, whatever, you guys can be free, which is nice. Like, we haven't censored ourselves talking, but there's so many, like, Rumble's not as user-friendly, it's kind of clunky in a lot of ways. Well, you can't premiere an episode, you can't do a live chat while your episode premieres. Like, there's not a community post. You can't do shorts. Like, there's so many things you just can't do with Rumble. So it's kind of limiting. We're exploring X right now and seeing, what. Yeah, but you got to pay that. You have to have the blue check month, which is $22 a month. So. Are you? I don't know. I have mine. They said no sound, muted, no sound. Can you guys hear me? Hello, can you hear me? It's going to take about 20 seconds. Muted, it says.
Can you hear me now?
Foil sound.
Can
muted.
You hear me now?
Everyone just keeps saying muted. Yes, we hear Tyler.
They
Tyler's
hear you.
Fine. Okay.
Okay, hold on. I think I fixed it. Maybe.
Foil only muted.
Still?
Well, I don't know. It's 20 seconds behind. Tyler is fine. Thank you.
Oh, they can hear. Oh, my God. Good Lord.
All right.
All right. Let's try this again, right? Hey, it's been a while, man. It's been a while, guys. I don't want to hear it's like riding a bike, okay? I'm sitting here trying to click on shit. I don't know what's going on here. It's been months.
You didn't miss anything. She was just saying hi to everybody.
I was saying hi and happy birthday to Golden Crisp, and thank you for the gold pill love on the Foxhole. Yes, I was reading everybody's names, so believe me, I gave you all shout outs. Okay, I love you all. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. It's good to see you guys. What up, frightening me? Yeah, guys. Sorry, it's been. I know it's been a while, but we're here. We're here today, and that's what matters, right? That's what matters. What's up with you, Tylena? Good to see
Oh
your
man,
smiling face.
everything. It's been busy, just constantly researching, Um, right now, when I do my construction on the side, it's busy during the spring and summer, but during the winter, I just kind of lay low and that's when I'm in like in the books and we're putting together webinars and doing all kinds of stuff with the podcast and stuff. So, just been busy with that, but I kind of want to start off with talking about the floods in San Diego
Bro,
the
what
other day.
happened?
Are we losing the California coastline? Is that what's
Bro,
happening?
is it like Enema, right? Like Arizona Bay, learn to swim, learn to swim, learn to swim, right? That's what I keep thinking every time I see some crazy shit out that way. I don't
Right.
know.
Oh, Tool.
Right? Yeah.
Learn to swim, learn to swim.
Right? Right?
Hey, I like that song.
That is my
Um,
shit.
no, but like I was seeing the TikToks and I'm like, this, you don't know what to believe anymore. But then when you
If
see
it's on
all of
TikTok,
your
it must be true, Tyler. We've discussed this.
right, but like somebody will show something and like they're like Florida underwater and it's like some footage from Taiwan or something, And
Right. Well, yeah,
but
this is true.
the
This is
streets
true.
in San Diego were flooding. I
Oh
mean, we're
no, it
talking
was
like underwater.
biblical. Biblical
Yeah,
level.
like
Except
like
for that one Tesla. Did you see that video of that one Tesla that just plowed right through the flood? It just kept on going. Like it was cool. It was cool.
no, I didn't see that, but I mean, some of them, I'm talking like the whole first floor of buildings was
Yeah, that was
underwater. Yeah.
crazy.
I don't know what the status is now, but so obviously the tide came up. There was crazy waves for a few days. The tide was coming up and it just crept, it like just overtook the land. But then I was seeing the videos of this storm that was dumping massive buckets out of the
Just
sky.
yeah, I
Like
seen that. The clouds
I've
just opened up, right?
literally biblical. Like I've never seen that. Like I've seen footage of big, heavy rainfall, but not like this.
Yeah, that was wild.
It
That
was
was
like
wild.
there's some giants up there just going.
Right? What caused
Um,
the San Diego floods? Was it A, weather modification, B, giants with buckets in the sky? I can't
I
even
thought
think
you
of
had
no
a
more. Right?
question
No, no,
ready.
no, no.
Um,
But it seems like we ought to have had a question
it
about
was
that.
giants with buckets in the
It
sky.
was
That's right.
obviously, or lizards. It's always lizard people. It was the
It
lizard
is.
people, clearly.
Um,
Oh, it's Roxy Boxy's the night before her birthday. Happy birthday. Look, so many birthdays. Anybody else got birthdays tomorrow or today? Happy birthday to you. Right? And yes, Yuvonda, this look at this, Tyler. Yuvonda sent me a black one, like my heart. I love it.
that's not funny, but I laughed.
Ah, I love it.
Um,
Yes, her links are in my description, by the way, for the Etsy.
somebody said it's been raining in Texas too.
Well, we had
Um,
crazy storms here the other day. Of course, I'm in South Carolina, so that's really not. Except I have to have my air conditioner on today now, which is weird. Like it is still January. I don't know what's happening.
big
Um,
earthquake in Japan. But did you see the stuff going on in Texas right now at the border and
oh,
how they're telling people to prepare for a conflict with the
bro,
authorities and
there are some good
yeah.
conspiracy theories surrounding the Texas border situation, right? Like
Do
I've
you have a
seen,
question about it?
no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
but I figured we
Well,
could
good.
just generally touch on it, right?
Yeah.
Listen, man, Texas should absolutely be able to defend their borders. They shouldn't have to, right? The government should be doing that. Like, what are we paying you fools for, right?
Yeah.
However, like the conspiracy theories are great. Like, there's, either there, I, and not that this is probably just a conspiracy, not even a conspiracy theory, but they're doing this to track, trace, database everybody that is supporting that or shows up at any of the rallies. There's rallies now.
Right.
That they're doing this to get more people on lists, that they're doing this because we're not going to have an election. They're going to somehow blame this on Trump and then get him pulled from the ballot for encouraging this, and then we're not going to have an election. I'm trying to think what else I've seen. Like there's
Well, I
conspiracy
mean,
theories abound about what's going
well,
on in
so what's
Texas right now,
interesting is Julia Marie, the girl we just interviewed on the podcast this week,
which can be
this week,
found on Rumble, by the
which
way,
can,
and there is a new YouTube channel, guys, for Tyler. They yoked
Yeah,
his
we are.
YouTube.
So Aaron created another YouTube channel under a different email, a whole different account. So it's not going to flag us. So he's been uploading a library from the start all the way up until, just in chronological order. So there is that. I shouldn't be saying that on
I
YouTube
was
right
just
now if they're
thinking, like,
listening.
just keep telling on yourself, sir. Just keep talking. They
Whatever. Yeah. So anyway, it's basically just a backup. We're just putting it all back up there and whatever. But anyway, so Julia Marie, the girl we just had on the show, she's been at this for 30 years. She's a psychic healer, QHHT, whatever, you name it. She does it all. But
right.
20 years ago, she started writing a book and never finished it. And it was a book of visions that she was getting for the future. And she was like, I'm showing you this now because I've never told anybody, and I just felt like I want somebody else to see it. I wrote this 20 years ago, and she had a vision that Texas and Utah were going to be the first two states to secede from the Union. And she's like, I've been seeing all this stuff with Texas now. She goes, I never published it because I thought it was crazy, and I wrote it off. But now that I see what's happening, maybe I was right. But she said that she saw Texas and Utah being the first two states to secede from the Union, and Texas eventually being like its own thing, where you had the residents who were living there, they were basically not stuck there, but no one else could move in. You could visit, but you couldn't stay.
He said,
And she
We're
kind of
done."
had this whole crazy vision. So we'll see.
Well, if a civil war is going to pop off anywhere, it's probably Texas, right?
Right.
I mean, that just seems to go along with the territory. Um, yeah, watch the Wi-Fi. Yeah, I love the Wi-Files frightening me, actually. Yep. Um, yeah, so you guys can find Tyler's. It's not Tyler's. It is definitely not Journey to Truth, but it is on YouTube if you're looking. Just
Well,
by the
we
way.
just recommend we're trying to funnel people over to Rumble. That's going to be our main home, our main channel. And it's really nice because we don't have to censor ourselves and we're just going to go balls to the walls over there, just just talking about stuff and having conversations that we've been dancing around for years on YouTube, playing all their games. So,
Yeah, you had your whole list of censored words ready
right.
when you
Yeah.
made. Right? Shit, we can't. Yeah, whatever. We're just gonna say whatever we need to say over here. If they kick us off, they kick us off, man. They kick us off,
Right. But
right?
there's so many features that YouTube has that are a lot better. But oh well.
Rumble will get there. They'll get there. Gotta give them time, man. Gotta give them
Hopefully.
time.
Hopefully.
Uh, 6 hours from the border. Yeah, that's rough. I actually have a lot of friends in Texas that are not hyped about what's going on. Belushi, what up, hubby? Good to see ya out there. Um, yeah, they say they'll follow you to Rumble, Tyler. So, good to see you guys. Yeah, so let's get into this, man. Let's get right into this. I don't know that this is actually a conspiracy theory trivia question, but this was funny as shit, so I had to throw this out there. Okay. Uh, and we've got YouTube versus the Fox Nuts today. Rumble. Yeah, I'm live on Rumble too, by the way. I don't know if it's going over there. I think it's going over there. Anyway, um, Tyler, how
Yeah.
much is the UK government offering to pay apparently entry level astronauts, whatever the fuck that means, in a recent official government job posting? Okay. Entry level astronauts. Is it A, £40,000 a year, B, £86,000 a year, C, £100,000 a year, or D, £140,000 a year?
D 140.
Final answer. You seem very
Yeah.
solid in that answer,
Yeah.
right? And like entry, there are starter positions for astronauts. Like I didn't know this. I did not know this. Um, yeah. Let's see what the yeah. This just took me completely by surprise. So how much is the UK government offering to pay entry level astronauts in a recent official job posting? A 40,000, B 86,000, C 100,000, or D 140,000. I'm seeing a lot of B's and D's.
A, B, C, they're
They're
cheap.
cheap, right? So Tyler, you said 140,000. Um, The answer is A, 40,000 pounds, right? Okay, so they start this posting off with a thorough job definition, right? They had to define astronauts. I don't know if this is for Gen Z or what. They say that astronauts fly spacecraft and do experiments in space. That's what they do, okay? The starting salary is 40,000 a year, right? Um, but if you have some experience, you could make up to 86,000 a year. I feel like we need to be paying our space people a little more than this. Okay, like I would be
Let me tell
personally
you something.
offended,
Like in construction, guys make 80,000 a year.
bro.
Like that's just so you're telling me that
Yes,
yeah.
not only that, right? Not only that, but they tell you in the job posting that you would be working between 39 and 41 hours a week, and it may require working away from home. Okay, just might require you working away from home. Um, you'll need to be between 27 and 37 years old. You have to speak English fluently and speak basic Russian. If you're a pilot with at least 1,000 hours of flying, that's a bonus, by the way. And you'll need a relevant degree, master's degree, at least in biology, chemistry, physics, engineering, medicine, aeronautics, or math, right? So to make 40,000 pounds a year, the UK government expects you to speak Russian, have a master's in a competitive field, right? Difficult science field, right? We're not talking about gender studies here. Okay, 1,000 hours of flying experience. They want dual U.S. citizenship, and they'll start you at 40K a year. So if anybody's interested, oh, the fleet. Thank you, Golden Crisp. Much love to you. Yeah, if anybody's interested, you won't be. You got to work away from home. This is not a work from
I
home
mean,
position, by the way, guys. Uh,
NASA was paying people $30,000 to lay in bed for a month.
I saw that and was
And
completely convinced. Like I got this right. I could
I
totally do
mean,
that
like
in
that,
preparation for transit, like out to Mars or something. Like they're
like,
trying to figure out the
yeah.
stasis shit, right? Yeah, that's a good. Hey, that's a good deal, right?
I mean, I was like, that's like, I think about the reality of and the misery of that, like being like, you can't stand up for anything.
No, you
Like
just
you were laying
catheters and
down
shit. Oh,
horizontally for 30 days. That sounds terrible.
bro, sounds horrible. But
But
30
it's a
days,
thousand dollars a day and you just
right?
lay there.
Right. I think I could do it. I think I could do it. But 40,000 a year to be an astronaut, that's crazy. Yes, with that resume, right?
That
I don't know
yeah, it's
what these people are smoking, man.
right. Rather be a trash man.
They make more.
Right.
A
Everybody does. Right.
sanitation engineer, right, makes
Yeah.
more than $40,000 a year, right? That is wild. Frightening Me says, "I'll take the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile position." Right? What do they pay? Like probably 100K a year to drive the freaking Wienermobile around.
They
Uh,
say, how about the poo and pee? Well, I'm sure they got like a catheter hooked up
oh
to
yeah,
them, or a
oh
bedpan.
yeah,
Who knows?
oh yeah. That
Um,
that is crazy. I think I could do it though. I think I could do it. You can
all
be
right.
drunk, Golden Crisp. It's your birthday, right? You're allowed to be drunk. This is fine. This is fine.
In the 1980 sci-fi classic, The Final Countdown,
It's the
the U.S. Navy is
final
depicted
countdown.
using what secret technology in an attempt to stop the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor? In the 1980 sci-fi classic, The Final Countdown, the U.S. Navy is depicted using what secret technology in an attempt to stop the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor? A. The Tesla death ray. B.
Mhm.
Hypnotic mind control. C. Time travel. D. Flying saucers.
1986, huh?
No, 1980.
1980.
Yeah,
Stop
movie
the
called The
attack.
Final Countdown.
I'm gonna go with the
What?
Tesla death ray. Oh, Frightening Me says F-14 and time travel. What up, Dennis Lindsay? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know this one. I feel like this is probably something that I should have been watching.
Oh, you should definitely watch
That
it.
I should have seen rather.
I only watched it. Well, I'll once we tell the answer.
I just
So,
like death rays. I feel like death rays
right.
should totally be a thing, you know? Kind of want to go with that.
The answer is C, time travel.
Of course it is. Well, I mean
So,
that's a logical way to approach preventing the attack on Pearl Harbor, right?
Well, it's based on a true story, apparently. And I found that out from John Warner the fourth. Whenever Chris Mellon's cousin, we interviewed him twice, and his father, John Warner the third, was the Secretary of the Navy, and he would share like some classified information with him. But as a teenager, he brought him to the premiere of the Final Countdown in 1980. And when he went, he said the whole theater was full of Navy brass and military and government personnel. And it was a pre-screening, and it was a pre-screening to get the Navy's approval for it to be their recruitment film. And he couldn't figure out why they would like be taking it so seriously because they were using literally the plot of the movie is, well, I'll just read it. A Pacific aircraft carrier enters a time warp and finds itself transported from 1980 to 1941, just before the attack on Pearl Harbor. The captain is forced to decide whether to strike at the approaching Japanese fleet and change the entire course of World War II. But apparently, this was obviously, we know the Philadelphia experiment and all this stuff,
Right.
but this was based on true story stuff that the Navy was experimenting with already ever since the Philadelphia experiment.
See, I feel
So,
like that would have ended badly though. Like I feel
yeah,
like that
and
would end badly. Us trying to if we actually prevented the attack on Pearl Harbor, I feel like we'd all be speaking German or Japanese right now.
right. And it's like Charlie Sheen's in that movie, not Charlie Sheen, Martin Sheen.
I
Um,
like Martin Sheen.
but it's not like that great of a movie, but whenever you like look at it as disclosure, it's fascinating. But either way, I think it's incredible. Like, and anyway, it was explained to John Warner the fourth that um it's based on real events. So take it or leave it, or who knows.
Hey, I told you before the show, I believe it all. Right? I believe all of it. I'm done trying to discern just if you tell me, I'm just gonna believe you. Okay? Like
Right.
I'm there. Whatever. Yeah, that sounds
Right. I
totally
mean,
legit to me. Okay?
because so much of like what we thought was bullshit is coming true
It's
anyway.
all
Like,
true.
right,
It's all true. Thank you, Golden Chris, for the shades. The Navy
right.
be time traveling for show. Yeah, they have to, right? I mean, at this point, like we have the technology. Okay,
Well,
I know we do.
um, yeah, there's a whole conversation we can get
But
into
I
about that.
also think I don't think we travel back into our own past. I think we travel back into an alternate string. So even if you change something, I don't think it would affect what's going on here. I think it would create an alternate timeline, but whatever is
Well,
happening here would still be happening here and until there was some kind of like a merging. Like I think that's maybe what happened in 2012. I don't know, I'm just talking shit here, but I think there was a time like a collapse of timelines, like rejoining. Maybe CERN had something to do with it. Not really sure. Okay,
yeah.
something
What's
like that,
interesting
some kind of
is
woo.
you're right about that. You can't, it's not just easy according to all the wild information out there. It's not as easy as you think to stay on your own timeline when you go in
Yeah,
the
I
past.
believe that.
And Andrew Bashago would talk about that whenever they were trying to send him back to the death of the murder of Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln. Every time they would send him to the theater, something would be different. He was going back to different timelines until they finally got on the right timeline. And what's crazy, I literally had a dream last night where I was doing the same exact thing, not going back to Lincoln's death, but I was with this like team of these time travelers, and we were trying to go back in time to change something and alter
Were you like a
history,
time
whatever.
travel
Alter.
commando?
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
but
That's a perfect job for me, I
we
think.
kept going back and we couldn't hit the right timeline. We were getting similar timelines, and I remember in the dream being
Just keep
amazed.
trying.
I remember in a dream being amazed at how similar everything was, but it was just
Just
slightly
a little
different.
different, right?
Yeah.
Just a little
And it
different.
was,
I really do. I think that's where we get the Mandela effect, is because the timelines eventually collapse, and then there has to be a dominant interpretation, right? That starts to wipe other shit. That's why we have all of
right.
these weird changes, in my humble opinion.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, I
but
agree.
yeah, man. Listen, time travel commando or space pirate. I haven't decided on what I really want to do with my life yet, but
Right.
I know it's one of those things. Okay, I know it. Um, s- Speaking of death rays, Tyler, uh, let me see here. Which government, right? Where'd it go? And you better know the answer to this. I'm going to be disappointed in you if you don't. The military of which country recently unveiled a directed energy weapon called Dragonfire that can
Oh,
blast drones and other objects out of the sky? Wait, if you remember, don't answer. Is it A, the US, B, China, C, the UK, or D, India? The military of which country recently unveiled a directed energy weapon called Dragonfire that can literally shoot shit out of the sky? Drones, flying objects, UFOs, and what have you. Is it A, the US, B, China, C, the UK, or D, India? I'm seeing a lot of support for space pirate. You guys think I would be a great space pirate, I think.
you know what's terrible right now? I'm pretty sure I know. I'm pretty sure it's C, but I literally shared
I
that
know you did.
post, and I'm second guessing myself now. I'm like, but I think it is Russia or the UK. C is what I'm gonna go with.
Going with C. Final answer. Let's see. I'm seeing some C's, D's. China. I'm seeing some China out there. Maybe C. I don't know. All
I
right.
can't believe I'm drawing a blank right now.
That's
I'm like,
crazy. Yeah, literally took this off of your Facebook feed.
right, and I
Uh,
should know it.
it is C. It was the UK.
Okay, good.
It was the UK. Yeah, the UK. They can only pay you $40,000 as an entry level astronaut, right? But they've got
Right.
Dragonfire death beams. Okay, it's priorities, man, priorities. So the UK military recently they tested this high power laser that is designed to literally knock shit out of the sky. They call it Dragonfire, and it passed its first field test by shooting down several drones off the Hebrides, off the coast of Scotland, on January 19th. Um, so like apparently missile strikes that can shoot drones out of the sky, the missiles can cost up to like 2 million each. Okay. But the laser beam though, typically is less than 10 pounds per shot, right? $13, 13 US dollars per shot. Now they won't, the maximum range of this thing is classified, but it can engage with any visible target. I love how they specify visible targets.
Yeah.
It can engage with any visible target. Now, there are like anti drone lasers that are like defensive weapons or whatever that can slice through drones or like subsonic missiles that have a little less destruction but more accuracy than the missiles that are used today. But they're putting all their eggs in this basket here with this Dragonfire. Apparently, the U.S., Germany, Israel, and Turkey have similar technology, but they have not deployed the weaponry yet. They admitted.
I mean, that's like I think my comment with the post is, AKA, this is how we've been manipulating humanity for 70 years, and we're just not telling you
Mm-hmm.
about it. So, what's interesting about drones, this reminded me of a video somebody just sent me. It was a guy on stage. It was like a drone about this big, handheld, and it was all completely AI controlled. He had no control over it. Like the only control he has is to turn it on and off, and you can program like targets into it, and it thinks for itself though. It can dodge. You can try and grab it, like it dodges and its maneuvers and everything. It was an
It's not
incredible display.
terrifying at all. Mm-hmm.
But and then he said that it's loaded with explosive, like a shot, like a round ammunition,
Oh, great.
and it was a weaponized drone, and they had a dummy on stage, and
Headshot,
he headshot. So what it does is the drone doesn't shoot. The drone is the weapon, is the carrier,
bro.
and
Smash
it
right into
would
your shit and just pop
and
your
it
dome.
blows a hole through your head. Yeah.
Bro.
It ultrasonic, like supersonic speed. It just like somehow has the ability to gain enough momentum to, when it impacts your head, it just kills you on
Not
impact.
terrifying at all. Not at all. What up, Jay Brewskis? Yeah, that's not scary at all. They're saying that this laser weapon, so like if the beam is too intense, interactions with the air can cause the beam to scatter, right? Um,
Yeah.
it's primed for use in space. How much particulate matter, and shit can really deflect or decrease the intensity of your beam in space. So I think it's funny, like remember them making fun of people for talking about Jewish space lasers? What was that, like 2 years ago? Like
Right.
it was a big joke. Jewish space lasers, yeah, yeah. Well, it's a thing, man. It's totally a thing.
Right.
I don't know. Dip, duck, dive, and dodge. Right. Yeah, that. I don't know. Headshot drones. No, that's.
Right. It was wild.
People come up with the evilest shit, man.
Hmm.
Like we will come up with a new technology and immediately weaponize it. Like it could totally do something really cool and nice, but we don't go for that, right? Not around here.
Well, that's what happens. Like when we interviewed Jerry Wills, he was inventing all these incredible things, and the military was weaponizing them, and then not giving him credit for the invention. So they utilize all the brilliant minds, and anytime a patent is submitted, they're like, "Oh, thank you for that. We're going to develop this," and then fuck you. You
Yeah,
don't
you know
get
how
that for shit.
shitty the scientists probably feel. Like the science is probably like, I'm gonna invent something that's gonna save humanity. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be peace and love and utopia. They make some shit in the military's like, snatch, thank you.
Right,
And then 2 years later, they're like, I'm the destroyer of worlds. Ah, hating their lives. Like that seems a little unfair, man.
right. All right, let's go on. Move on to the next question.
On to the next one.
Many Native American kivas have a small square or circular pit dug into the bottom of them that mainstream archaeologists believe were used as fire pits.
Hmm.
Though Native American lore claims that they were not fire pits and they were actually used for what? A. Communication with the star people. B. A portal to inner Earth. C. A healing center. Or D. A birthing center.
Portal was my initial immediate thought before you even finished the question, so I'm gonna go with portal.
I'll read it one more time. Many Native American kivas have a small square or circular pit dug into the bottom of them that mainstream archaeologists believe were used as fire pits, though Native American lore claims that these were not fire pits and they were actually used for what? A. Communication with the star people. B. A portal to inner Earth. C. A healing center. Or D. A birthing center.
Yeah, frightening me says portals too. I'm thinking portals. Yes, dragons are back in Scotland.
I really like
Belushi.
frightening me's effort. He never just takes a shortcut and types A, B, C, or D. He types the
The
full
whole
answer.
answer, right?
Right. You're
Very
gonna get extra
specific.
points for showing your work.
Golden Crisp says A. What was it, communication with the star people? It's either that or portals. It's either A or B, right? It has to be. I'm seeing a lot of C's and D's though. I don't know.
The answer is B, portal to inner Earth.
Portals. Ha.
So this is what Wikipedia says. A sipapu, a Hopi word, was a small hole or indentation in the floor of a kiva. Kivas were used by the ancestral Pueblans and continue to be used by modern day Pueblans. The sipapu symbolizes the portal through which their ancestors first emerged to enter the present world. But then it says mainstream archaeologists believe blah blah blah, whatever. It's a fire pit. So I'm reading this book. Do you know what the Phoenix Journals are?
No. Do tell.
So the Phoenix Journals, it actually was a series of journals that were written in 1938, between 1938 and 1940, about the true history of Earth, the true history of this planet. And it was like a monthly journal. And it was basically people sharing like firsthand experiences, and like basically the Native Americans were giving these people who were writing this journals this information. And they were like writing the history, I guess, the star people history, whatever. So it stopped in 1940, and then it wasn't until 1989 that somebody started to bring it back. Somebody decided to bring it back, and so they brought back the Phoenix Journals, and the very first journal entry was called the Sipapu Odyssey, and I have it. And it's from a guy I know, this old man Ray Anderson. I met him at some local meetings, and he just showed up at my house one day. He's like the type of old man, like he'll just show up. He doesn't ever call. Like he'll just be at your door. And he had a box. He had a box of all these books, and he's like,
Oh,
"These are
is
the."
this the guy with the books?
No, this is different.
You
This was
got all
years
kind
ago.
of guys with books, man.
Yeah, this was years ago. And he's like, he goes, "Here, I brought these for you." And I didn't know what the Phoenix Journals were at the time. And he had all the volumes. And I'm like, this is like, I don't know what this is. I didn't even know what was in them, you know? And I was like, I don't want all those. He's like, well, just take a few. And so I just like randomly picked a couple, and I didn't even realize I picked volume one, which is called the Sipapu Odyssey, which is about it's about these people in Nevada in 1989 who get in a car wreck. Two of them end up on a ship with some ETs, and one of them ends up, he wakes up, he's injured so bad, he wakes up in a Kiva. He
Oh,
wakes
and
up in a
took him to
Kiva
try and
being
help him or
cared,
whatever.
yeah, being cared for by Native Americans. But the problem, the thing is that the Kiva, as we know it, it's ruins, right? It's like ancient
Right.
ruins. But when he woke up, it was active and there was people there.
Oh,
And when he finally walked out, like there was a whole civilization. They were like farming and everything, and he didn't understand what was going on. And he couldn't talk for a couple days. He was so injured, he couldn't talk, and they were giving him this medicine, and a shaman would come in and do all this work to him, and they were healing him. But he observed them literally going into the Sapapu at the bottom of the Kiva, like as a portal. They were going in and out of it every night. And he thought surely like he thought he was seeing things or whatever until he was finally coherent enough and he realized that none of them spoke. They were all telepathic. And what he realized was this civilization isn't gone. They're still here in another frequency. And they brought him into this other frequency to heal him. But in our reality, it's just ancient ruins. But in another reality, it's still very lively and active. And they would actually use the Sipapu, the portal. They could come into our reality through that still. It's like still an active portal. We just can't perceive it.
I need to read this.
Yeah, it was wild. So, and it's the whole book's pretty incredible. The whole journal entry is pretty incredible. But either way, it was like really profound to think about the fact that and he said one of the archways in the rocks in Nevada was also like this portal that they would go
I
through in and out
believe
of.
that. I mean, just like we see in
Yeah,
where I don't know, Machu Picchu or Chichen Itza or whatever, but they got the laser cut rock. But they've said forever that those are portals in the stone,
yeah,
actually, that the star people would transit through. Like, if
yeah.
I'm ever in a horrible accident, I'm gonna need to be healed by Native
And
Americans. Okay,
yeah, but then what he
I'm just
had,
saying.
so he ended up falling in love with the girl who was caring for him, which it
Well,
turned out
naturally,
like this. It turns out this was like no accident. He actually had a past life with this girl in Peru or something, whatever. And he didn't want to leave. Like he fell in love with the whole way of life and everything. And he wanted to stay. But like, if you realize, like, you have to go through there's like a whole protocol to even get your body ready to shift frequencies like that permanently. Like, otherwise, you just can't handle it. So he's took it seriously. He started working with the shaman and doing all these practices and all this stuff. And like it came time for the final ceremony. And like it was like the reality of it was he would literally have to leave this plane of existence and never just be a missing person. Like never come back again
I
if he
feel like I
wanted to
could
go.
make that exchange.
Right. Yeah. I'm like,
Like I feel like I could take that deal.
I'm like, are there taxes over there?
Right?
Because if
Like
I don't have to pay bills or taxes, like no brainer.
right?
But he said it was so certain. He was so certain that he was going until the final moment. He got such a sick feeling, the realization of like, oh my God, I'm actually not coming. I might not come back. Like,
Man, that's wild. I need to read that. Thank you, Golden Crisp, for the can. Uh, Mark Jason Walker says, "Who was the creator's first creation?" I mean, are we talking
hey,
biblical
you're gonna
wise?
have
What
to
are we talking here?
entertain them. I have to take a pee break real
Oh,
quick.
you go right ahead.
Sorry.
Uh, who was the Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about. Um, wait, the Phoenix Journals has a YouTube channel. Oh, I gotta go find that for sure. I gotta go find that for sure. I love conspiracy trivia too. We learned so many crazy things here, up three, right? Like I learned every time I have to write, because at first we were just asking questions. Like for those of you that don't know, this started because I bought a box set board game called Conspiracy Theory Trivia, and it had pre-written questions, and it was just me and Tyler sitting here asking each other the questions and playing along with you guys, right? Well, we ran out of questions, and then we had to start writing our own questions. So I have to actually do research to find these things. And I learned so much crazy shit writing these questions for you guys. I hope you know that. Um, that's great. You said Jessica Light Warrior says Jesus. Yeah, I would know. Mark, Jason, you're right. I was going to say Lucifer was first among the angels. Jesus wasn't actually a creation, right? Jesus is part of God, according to, and you guys know I am a Christian, but I know a lot of you guys don't necessarily believe that way. But even according to the Lord, Jesus is part of the Trinity, right? He's part of God. He wasn't created, he was begotten of the Father. But Lucifer was first among the angels, supposedly the first creation. There's some
Oh,
trivia
there's a YouTube
for you.
channel, the
Yeah,
Phoenix
I know.
Journal. I
That's why I
didn't
was
know
just
that.
saying that. Golden Crisp. What? Golden Crisp just donated 25,400 gold pills.
How much is that?
Like $254. Thank you,
Really?
sir.
Holy cow.
Right?
Thank
Thank you
you.
for the love.
Wow.
Thank you
That's
for the
incredible.
love. Right? I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I don't expect it from you guys. Like, I'm just here to have fun. I appreciate you, truly, in my heart. I hope you know that. But you've been with me since like day one. So it's ride or die here.
She
Uh,
said, finding me, your all's questions are so much more obscure. LOL. It gets harder and harder to be correct.
yeah, I was telling them about how when we first started, we were literally reading questions from the board game. Like, and then we had to
Right.
start actually
Like it was
writing the
easy.
questions.
It was like the basic, easy conspiracy theory. Like what was rumored to be at Roswell?
Yeah,
A,
right,
UFOs. B,
right.
something.
I mean, some of them were a little out there, like a few of them, but they were very
Some,
basic. It
yeah.
was like entry level conspiracy theory trivia, right? We were
Some of
we were
them
at
were,
entry level.
some of them surprised me though. They were like, I was like, oh wow, they actually
Yeah,
covered
we
that. But
learned we learned some things, right? We learned about alien abduction insurance,
yeah,
right? We did.
yeah,
That's
which is
totally a
real.
thing, guys. Totally a thing, right? Who does that? Geico? Was it Geico that offers
Geico. Yeah.
Geico? But you have to be
If
able
you
to
can
prove it.
prove it though,
You got to
you
be
have
able
to
to prove it, and they'll insure you against alien abduction. Yeah, we learned some things.
which I think, and if you read it, like it was like prove it if you had like physical markings and stuff, like
Hmm.
on
Yeah, you had to have, yeah, right, or like pregnancy, like alien pregnancy was one of their sub clauses. Like you had to be able to prove it though. Yeah, that was crazy. But we are definitely past entry level conspiracy theory trivia at this point. We're at like at least second year university conspiracy
right.
theory level
Some
trivia
of
at
them.
this point. I think, right? Speaking of which, I got another one for you, Tyler. That if you don't know the answer, I'm gonna be very disappointed in you. Okay.
Okay.
Because I don't at all troll your feed for quick trivia questions sometimes.
Okay.
All right, guys, here we go. Uh, yes, please hit the thumbs up. That's the love I need, guys. If you're watching, hit that thumb. Um, what were the first two states to outlaw chemtrails? Right? What were the first two states to outlaw chemtrails? Was it A, Oklahoma and Florida, B, Texas and Arizona, C, Texas and New Hampshire, or D, Alaska and Hawaii?
I know the answer, so I'm not going to answer.
Hmm.
But
Are you sure you know the answer?
I know.
What were the first two states to outlaw chemtrails? A, Oklahoma and Florida, B, Texas and Arizona, C, Texas and New Hampshire, or D, Alaska and Hawaii?
And technically, I have to correct you. They didn't outlaw them. It's to the first two states to potentially ban them.
Well, they wrote up some stuff.
Right.
Yes, I
Oh
get it.
yeah, there's like a bill and everything. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. They're well, actually, no. The one state passed it, right? Didn't well, I'll read my
Yeah.
little thing and we'll see
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
going on. Guys, who's it? Texas and Arizona. Leyland is right, I think. Texas has them. Yeah. It is Texas and New Hampshire. Guys, the answer is C, right? So New Hampshire, oh yeah, has become the second state to potentially outlaw the spraying of aerosolized particulate matter into the skies, right? Chemtrails. So Texas made history last year when state representatives looked into changing the law to ban dangerous atmospheric aerosol spraying without prior approval and testing of the chemicals being sprayed. Now New Hampshire has followed suit. Okay, according to New Hampshire House Bill 1700 HB 1700, it establishes a regulatory process to prevent the intentional release of polluting emissions in the atmosphere and at ground levels. Okay, and provides penalties for violations. Um, so the intentional release of polluting emissions, this would include like ground seeding or cloud seeding, weather modification, even like excessive electromagnetic radio frequency or microwave radiation. Like these are all could be considered polluting emissions. um,
Right.
so the general court finds that many of these atmospheric activities like weather modification or stratospheric aerosol injections,
Yeah.
solar radiation modification, other forms of geoengineering, and they involve the intentional release of these polluting emissions, and they harm human health and safety. So
Right.
finally, people are kind of listening, and they're working on this, guys. They were working on this.
That's what I was just trying to look up. Like it wasn't just aerosol spraying; it was the solar radiation
Yes.
modification.
Hmm.
There was a
Good,
few other
because
things.
I think we've talked about it here before. Remember,
Yeah.
Bill Gates is trying to dim the sun, right? Him
Right.
and Harvard. Thanks,
Right.
CO2 Dave, for the can. Him and Harvard teamed up. They want to spray some shit in the atmosphere to dim the sun to prevent global warming, right? This is
It's
some
or to
mad
terraform the
scientists.
planet, or to terraform the planet for the ETs to be for it to be more habitable for the ETs. And I really do. I'm not even joking when I say that.
We've talked
You've
about the
seen Fringe,
lizard spraying. Yeah, yeah, I love
right? But
Fringe,
yeah,
right?
okay. So guess what?
Walter
When they go
Bishop
to
is my spirit
when they go to
animal.
2036, what are the observers doing?
Yes, right?
They're trying to modify the
Right?
atmosphere so it's more suitable for them. I swear to God, that's exactly what these reptilians or whoever dark controllers, I swear that's what they're trying to do here. It's not maybe it is to dim out the sun because it's hard for them to be in the sun, but I think they're terraforming this planet to be more suitable for them.
Doesn't listen. I'm with it. I mean,
Right,
how many, and we see it in popular culture, like Star Trek. Okay, in Enterprise, we had
right,
those aliens that were trying to create, that form in the expanse where they had those spheres that were modifying space so that they could exist in it. Like,
right,
I'm sure there are things that want to exist in our domain that
right.
this is not particularly habitable for them. But shit, with all the plastic
And then I
stuff they
think some
spray
of
in the
them are like
sky, who
I
knows?
think some of them are mind control drugs. Like William Tompkins talked about the reptilian tankers spraying gases on over technologically
Yeah, the
advancing
lizard
cities.
tankers, man.
So, but think about that. They would target technologically advancing cities to basically dumb them down. And when I went down to Belize and I just noticed like, oh my God, there's no 5G towers, there's no chemtrails, the air was pure, you can breathe, you could sleep. I never got better rest in my life. But the town I was staying in, Punta Gorda, was basically they were in poverty, living in poverty. And
But
I'm
probably
like, well,
happy. Probably happy,
oh,
happy, happy,
a
happy
hundred
people.
percent. But I'm pretty sure it was a cartel ran town. Either way, um,
Can't
it was
can't win them all,
interesting.
man.
It was interesting because I had that thought while I was laying there. I'm like, this is not a technologically advancing city, so they could care less to target this area with chemtrails, towers, all this stuff. Like they were just kind of like almost like let them go, leave them alone. Anyway, just a theory. Who knows?
I'm with it. I'm with it. That is
All
crazy,
right,
though.
is it my turn?
It is your turn, sir.
According to diaries left behind by an ex-Men in Black agent that are now in the possession of Sean David Morton, the original purpose for the HAARP facilities was not weather manipulation, but what?
Hmm.
A, a power grid for underground cities. B, a galactic communications device. C, a teleportation device. Or D, a frequency net to stop UFOs from entering our airspace. According to a diary left behind by an ex-Men in Black agent that are now in possession of Sean David Morton, or whatever, I just butchered that. The original purpose for the HAARP facilities was not weather manipulation, but what? A power grid for underground cities, a galactic communications device, a teleportation device, a frequency net to stop UFOs from entering our airspace.
Man, I don't know. I feel like it could have tried to create a frequency net to stop them from entering our airspace. I feel like that's possible. What were the other ones? Say 'em one more time.
A power grid for underground cities, galactic communications
I feel like it
device.
could also be a communications array.
Well, a lot of people seem like they know the answer.
So what?
So
D? Everybody's
it
saying
is
D.
D, a frequency net to stop
Yeah, I
UFOs
feel
from
like
entering
that
our
that makes
airspace.
sense.
So the ice cube neutrino, yeah. But yeah, so this book, the Sands of Time series, which I'm reading right now, are incredible, and I have no reason to believe that they're not true, and they're based on true stories. So what happened was Sean David Morton, if anybody knows who he is, we had him on the show, but um, he he was he was friends with this guy who was in the secret government potentially.
Okay.
He worked for the shadow government since the 40s, and he knew Sean. They were friends with him. He knew that he was like on a mission to get out the truth, blah blah blah. So he made a deal. Uh he would give him his diaries after he passed, and he gave him permission to like once I'm gone, share this information with the public. So what happened was at Obama's inauguration, this guy passed away, and the Air Force came to Sean
Almost killed
David
me
Morton's
too.
house,
But
and the Air Force came to Sean David Morton's house, and they delivered him a stack of diaries, leather-bound diaries from this man, and he had like meticulously journaled everything he had done within the shadow government, working for all these groups. And that's where this information comes from. So what happened was during the Philadelphia, well, it's in the book, it says the Nazi Bell and the Philadelphia experiment were both potentially time travel devices. Die Glock was, a time travel device.
sure.
And he goes, what they did they didn't realize they were doing, but they tore holes in space and time,
Like
like in
in
the fabric,
Fringe.
exactly like that. And they said that's why we had all the uptick of UFOs. Like it was a dimensional gateway, and
I
the
bet.
UFOs weren't like coming from space; they were literally coming in this hole that is now in these holes that are now in our dimension, in our reality. So they realized this was a major issue because some of them were not friendly to begin with, and there's a whole story there. But the reason they created the HAARP facilities was to literally try to put up a frequency net to stop them from entering our dimension, basically our airspace.
This makes sense to me.
Yeah, it was never originally intended for weather manipulation, according to this. And it wasn't just the Nazi Bell and Philadelphia experiment. A lot of the stuff they were doing at Montauk, all the early time travel experiments, they were creating so many like what Fringe calls soft spots in our
Mm-hmm.
reality where things like interdimensional portals basically, and it became like a shit show really fast.
Yeah, the
And
veil
they
is
were like trying,
thin in places, like
yeah, so
super
and they were
thin.
actively trying to like develop technologies to like close these holes
I
basically.
bet they were.
um so
Stranger Things, right? I bet they were. I bet they
yeah,
were. That actually makes a lot of sense to me. And it kind of it's funny because like you notice now like David Grush, regardless of what you think about him, like the people that are coming forward now, they're insisting on using uh
interdimensional,
interdimensional
yeah,
as opposed and I think probably most of what we are seeing is interdimensional shit. I really believe that. Now I believe that there are other life arose in other places and that there's probably sufficiently advanced stuff to get from wherever to here. Like I believe that, but I think most of what we see is interdimensional shenanigans,
right.
right? I truly do. And it kind of leads into my next question. This is something new I learned too, guys, right? Have you ever heard the name Gerald Light?
I don't know, it sounds familiar, but that's not ringing a bell.
Okay, so Gerald Light, who was allegedly in attendance at the 1954 meeting between Eisenhower and the aliens, okay, when they made the supposed agreement. He wrote a letter following the meeting and referred to the aliens as what? Was it A, extraterrestrials, B, interdimensionals, C, Etherians, or D, Greys? So Gerald Light, who was allegedly in attendance at the 1954 meeting between Eisenhower and the aliens, wrote a letter following the meeting and referred to the aliens as what? A, extraterrestrials, B, interdimensional beings, C, Etherians, or D, Greys?
I'm gonna go with the interdimensionals.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. See what the crowd thinks. I know, this is definitely like third year university
Right.
conspiracy theory trivia question. 'Cause this was all new to me. Crystal Sucks says lizard. The answer is always lizards on this channel, guys. By the way, always lizards. Okay. I'm seeing C, B, D, B, grays. So the answer is Etherians. Okay,
Oh,
and
interesting.
this is weird. And I want to read you part of this letter because this just, I was like, what? This is new. So, dude starts out, he writes the letter to Gerald Light, and he starts out by saying he just returned from Muroc, which was later renamed Edwards Air Force Base. He says, I made the journey in company with Franklin Allen of the Hearst Papers, like Hearst Publications, Edwin Norse of Brookings Institute, and Bishop McIntyre of LA. When we were allowed to enter the restricted section, um, I had the distinct feeling that the world had come to an end with fantastic realism. I have never seen so many human beings in a state of complete collapse and confusion as they realized their own world had indeed ended with such finality as to beggar description. The reality of the other plane sea forms, aeroforms, is now and forever removed from the realms of speculation and made a rather painful part of the consciousness in every responsible scientific and political group. He says, during my 2 days visit, I saw 5 separate and distinct types of aircraft being studied and handled by our Air Force officials with the assistance and permission of the Etherians, these other plane beings, right? Uh,
Hmm.
so with permission of the Etherians, I have no word to express my reactions. It's finally happened. It's now a matter of history. President Eisenhower, as you may already know, was spirited over to Morocco one night during his visit to Palm Springs recently, and it is my conviction that he will ignore the terrific conflict between the various authorities and go directly to the people via radio and television if the impasse continues much longer. Now, you remember when he left office, he gave that famous speech about
Hmm.
the military-industrial complex and all kind of wooey adjacent shit,
Right.
right? But he said that they were yes of the ether, Etherians. Hmm.
Hmm.
Exactly, frightening me. So that's what he referred to them as. The capital E, as in proper name, Etherians. That these were the otherworldly beings. They had different types of aeroforms, other plane aeroforms. Right, I said
Really?
C
Yeah.
forms
That's
first, but it was aeroforms. Yeah, that was new
what is
information
the
to me.
difference between Ethereans and interdimensional? Maybe nothing, but that's the name that he
Yeah,
decided to
that's
give
what
them.
he that's
Yeah.
or what they gave him. I mean, it is
Yeah.
capitalized as a proper noun in the letter that is their name, the Etherians. I don't know. I don't know. I have to do. I want to do more research into this because, like I said, this was new information to me as well. Yes, with an E, Belushi, like out of the ether. It could be
It's also,
AE, but it's yeah.
yeah. What's interesting in the books, in those books also, they talk about not just the Greys and the Reptilians, but the Nordics, one of the early groups that they were dealing with. And when they describe the Nordics, they describe them, they're human-like, but they like they said that they were always like jealous of them because they were like so built and good looking and they had blonde hair and they would wear these blue suits like
Right.
all the people that depict them, like when you see the drawings of them you almost like roll your eyes at them, but that's exactly the way they describe them in the book, like these like almost like Ken doll looking race. And
Well,
we yeah.
I mean, not for nothing, but when the Nazis were talking about the ultimate form, they're talking about blonde hair, blue eye. Well, they didn't look like that. Hitler did not look like that, right? But they were getting contact,
Right. They thought maybe this like superior race, they could be like
right?
them. Yeah.
Yes, in my opinion, right?
Anyway, is it my turn?
Foyle needs to talk about the Nephilim. Next time we're here, we'll do some questions about the Nephilim. Yes,
Mm,
it
mm,
is your
mm,
turn, sir.
mm. Okay. So we're just sticking with these books because I was running out of ideas. So um according to Sean David Morton's The Sands of Time 2 book, how many levels are there below Denver International? A 20, B 7, C 14, or D 66? How many levels are there below Denver International? 20, 7, 14, or 66?
I want to say 66 because I feel like that's what they would go with. But I don't know. You've got 7 and 14. It's probably 7 or 14. I don't know. Keystone says 7.
Books are good for ideas. Yes, they
They
are.
are. They really
And they're
are.
good for winter whenever the weather is shitty like it is in St. Louis right now.
He did trade our cattle and children to be eaten by the Ethereans, Belushi. That's exactly what. So we could get some.
Keystone's right. They do have 7 at Dulce.
I see. I knew you put two multiples of 7 in there. I figured that was part. Your brain went 7, 14, and then went on with some other numbers. Yeah. Golden Crisp thought 66. It seems like they would have 66, right?
The answer is A, 20.
Oh, is it?
It is. Well,
Oh.
so this was now, I don't know what it is now, but this journal was from the 60s, right? And he's talking about the underground network that they were developing at the time. They went all over the country, the maglev and whatever. And he was asking like where all the stations were, and he told him Denver was one of them. And he said, he goes, "Why Denver? We don't have anything there, do we?" And he goes, "Not yet, but they're building a new airport. It's going to be huge, and we got 24s below it with all the items necessary for the COG, continuation of government.
Hmm.
If the need arises, if something happens to DC, Denver is a secondary federal capital, and we can transfer the entire government there in under 48 hours." He's like, hell, they should do that anyway because the feds own something like 80% of everything west of the Mississippi anyway. They're building the
Right.
airport way outside Denver on basically this tornado plan so they could bring in something like 200,000 troops there in a big hurry if they needed to. Um, and then it goes on and on. But so they were talking about it being, and he also goes on and talking about the underground cities that they had developed and all that stuff. But so this was before it was technically built. The plan was 20 floors. So maybe they've added on to it since then, which is highly likely.
Belushi says they removed the mural and other demonic shit from the Denver airport. Is that stupid horse still out there? That horseman of the apocalypse?
Matthew said, I'm still going with 66. Hey, maybe
Right.
it is.
It's got to be.
Um,
That's got to be the answer. Uh, Stack says 19 floors. Actually, they don't count the 13th level. I bet. Right? Isn't that weird that we do that here?
yeah, that's wild.
Um. Yeah. Yuvonda says the same thing. All the murals and statues have been removed.
I was
We're
just
on to
there.
them already, right?
I
Like,
I was
what's the
just there
point
a
of that?
couple months ago, and I wasn't in the part where the mural was, but I did see like new construction signs up where they were still throwing it in your face with the reptilian layer, but they were not the old ones we've seen. They were new, and one of them even showed a portal, and we covered it in our webinar on the underground.
I don't know. I wouldn't even. I don't even want to. I wouldn't even want to fly out of there, fly through there, lay over there, nothing. Seems weird to me. It's got to
Oh,
have
it's
really
weird. Well,
weird
obviously you
energy.
know why. It's the continuation of government.
Yeah, but the
It's the
energy there has just got to be weird. In my head,
oh,
it's
it is.
gotta be a weird place.
First time I ever went there, I got sick to my stomach. I could feel something negative. Like I was like, I couldn't get out of there fast enough.
I imagine. I
And
imagine.
like there's one part in the airport where they has like it has this floor and imprinted in the floor are these
Yes.
like dinosaur like body parts and stuff. And they have like these hands that look like reptilian hands. And then next to them, next to all of it, they have little children's handprints and footprints. So like they're showing you reptilian body parts and children. I'm like, this is
It's just
disgusting.
weird, people. Like weird,
Yeah.
right? Just weird. Um. All right, so how about let's talk about a recent government cover up. Okay, this was new information to me too. I had not even heard about this, and I'm surprised. So in September of 2018, conspiracists alleged that a team of agents in black helicopters swarmed what facility to cover up the accidental discovery of aliens? Was it A, the Church of Scientology's headquarters, B, SETI's Hat Creek Observatory, C, the Sunspot Solar Observatory, or D, the Kepler Exoplanet Telescope.
What was the question again? The first part of the question?
In September of 2018, conspiracists allege that a team of agents in black helicopters swarmed what facility? They really did swarm a facility to cover up the accidental discovery of aliens. Was it A, the Church of Scientology's headquarters, B, SETI's Hat Creek Observatory, C, the Sunspot Solar Observatory, or D, the Kepler Exoplanet Telescope?
C. I don't know. I
Frightening Me
really don't
says
know.
C, Yuvonda says C. What do you think, Fox Nuts?
I mean,
Right?
I remember the Sunspot Observatory getting some news in 2018. But that's when they shut down all the observatories. Remember that when that
Was it?
happened? I think it was 2018. Anyway, that's my
It
guess.
was, and the answer is C. But this is weird, right? This observatory, it's Sunspot Solar Observatory, right? This is in New Mexico. It's weird looking building, white pyramid looking thing, right? It's on Sacramento Peak in the southern part of New Mexico. Uh, the employees were all sent home. The internet went into a frenzy, right? What did they find that they would shut down the observatory, right? So after days of speculation, the authorities said that it was just a security issue, right? They wouldn't give any details. Um, they said that there was a threat to the people on the peak and that secrecy was necessary. Okay. Now, the FBI went in there. They removed people from their jobs there and the surrounding homes for over 10 days. Okay. There
Mhm.
were black helicopters, unmarked helicopters at the scene, all kinds of weirdness, right? It's not far from Holloman Air Force Base. It's close to White Sands Missile Range. Um, and so they, on September 6th, they evacuated the facility and the surrounding homes, right? They come out later and try to say that um, their official story is that they were concerned that a suspect in an investigation, it was a suspect of an active investigation, posed a threat to the safety of local staff and residents. Okay, that's why they kicked everybody out. They were investigating somebody and he was a threat and they closed everything down. So it turns out this dude that was the center of this investigation, according to them, was what the hell was his name? Normally I write all this stuff down. Was accused of sending out pedo material on their server. Now even if the dude was doing that, does that sound like a reason for
No.
shutting down an observatory for 10 days and evacuating the surrounding homes?
Right.
Um,
They might as well have said there was a
Joshua
teenage
Cope
they
was the
might as well have
guy.
said that there was teenagers fighting, shooting off
Bro,
fireworks.
it was the janitor. So they shut the shit down and then they tried to blame it on the janitor sending CP over their network, right? And they charged the guy. Like he very well may have been doing that, but that is not why you sent in the FBI unmarked black helicopters, shut
Right.
down the observatory for 10 days and kick people out of their surrounding homes because some aggro janitor was sending weird shit over the internet. Like, come on now.
Right. Well, I think that was also, it wasn't just that observatory though. It was a whole bunch all over the world that were shut down. And at that time, when we did get photos of the sun
Right.
that finally came through, it looked like an entire armada of
Right.
ships just coming out of the sun, like like arguably there were ships either way. There was anomalies all over these images. And it's like they didn't want people seeing like something that they couldn't prevent being seen that was coming through the sun at
Right.
that time.
Stack says feds arresting pedos. Yeah, right. Well, if they're low level janitors, I mean, they'll throw those guys to the wolves, right? And leave
Right.
the big mucklucks alone.
Right.
Um, oh, thanks, frightening me. It's a
I
replacement
mean,
for AJ.
they're not gonna, they can make up anything that they want and people have to,
Right?
you know
Like,
what I'm
come on,
saying?
man. Y'all shut down all kind of shit and kick people out of their homes for 10
Right,
days because some dude was sending some wackadoo shit over the internet. Come on now.
yeah.
Like, that don't even sound right. And that was recent. Like I remember hearing something about it, but like I never knew what their cover story was. Well, that was their cover story.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, whatever. It's a cover story. They're literally telling you it's the cover up
Mhm.
with when they say cover story.
It's so bad. I mean,
Yeah,
you could have picked anything else, like toxic chemicals. I don't know, something else more
right.
reasonable to kick people out
It's
of their
not, yeah.
homes.
The cover story isn't coverage of the story, it's the cover up story. And that's just
Right.
like always been there in front of our face.
The coverage.
Um, all right. So back to these books again. According to secret government documents, where was the original command and control senator? Let me start that over. According to secret government documents, where was the original command and control center that monitors all space traffic that enters and exits our atmosphere located? A, the Cayman Islands, B, Antarctica, C, Greenland, D, Tibet. Where was the original command and control Senator, why do I keep saying that? Where was the original command and control center that monitors all space traffic that enters and exits our atmosphere? The Cayman Islands, Antarctica, Greenland, or Tibet?
It's got to be either Antarctica or Greenland. Low population density, not a lot of light pollution, clear skies. I'll go with Antarctica. Nah, I feel like maybe Greenland is the answer. I don't know, guys. What do you think?
By the way, these books are the most fascinating, mind-blowing
You
reads
find
that.
you find some shit to read now. Like I stick with fiction. Like so recently, I read the Expanse series. I got my little Rosanna t-shirt, right? Like I love the show The Expanse. I read the books. Fantastic. Now I've moved on. This is what I'm reading now. Revelation Space by Alistair Reynolds. This is good. If you like hard sci-fi, like that's that shit right there.
Mhm.
Keystone says
So,
Greenland or Antarctica, right? I've seen a lot of
well,
Greenlands. Tibet.
one person got it right so far that I see.
Was it
Or
Tibet?
no, John Ken said A just because I want to be different. Somebody else said A too. Sandra Smith. It was A, the Cayman
The
Islands.
Cayman Islands.
So if you look, there's three islands in the Cayman Islands. Well, the smallest one is has only two of them have airports, not the middle one, and the smallest one has a Sir Charles Airport. Well, Sir Charles back in the '60s was this is where they called it Studio Central. So on the Cayman Islands, there was a massive underground facility that had technology that we would just be like that we would expect to find today underground. And they Sir Charles was the front, he was like the puppet. He was a figurehead for for all the nations on the world at the time. And like any of the ET meetings and anything that we were having with these other groups out there, it would if the real people in charge didn't want to do it, Sir Charles would be like the guy who would meet him. If he was like the figurehead.
He was the go-to guy.
But if you look, like, so there's actually, I was reading the book, and this is from the '60s, and I went on Google Earth, and I'm like, okay, Cayman Islands. I'm like, oh shit, there's actually an airport, Sir Charles Airport. And when Queen Elizabeth died, King Charles was inaugurated on that island, the Cayman
See,
Islands.
that's just,
So,
I don't know. Sir Charles, English dude's named Charles. Ah.
right, but so King Charles was literally inaugurated on that property that they talk about in the book that has it's just a normal the property looks like a mansion, like a home, a wealthy person's home, but one of the buildings actually goes completely underground and seals up, like it drops in case of emergency, but there's an underground facility there. And that's where they would even have meetings with these like Nordics and other groups of ETs that were coming. But they explained that they had satellite grid up in the '60s that was like stuff we see in the movies today. They can zoom in even inside buildings. Like they had crazy technology, and they didn't only just have the cameras facing Earth, but they had them in deep space also. They had deep space satellites and they could monitor space, but they said they didn't have that many back then, so there was a lot of blind spots. They couldn't like get the whole area, but they were in the process of developing more. It was fascinating.
They absolutely have. Do you remember when I used to do Space Force News? I woke Alara up at like 3 in the morning one day. So I'm sitting here reading. Thanks, Woke Societies, for the can. By the way, what up, Scott? Good to see you. Um, there's a company called Capella, and Capella has satellites that even regular, just regular ass people, right? Total randos. If you pay, you can hire them to use their tech, right? You can
Yeah.
rent out a satellite if you've got enough money to do stuff with. Okay. They have this special satellite that can see through solid objects, and they messed up. And I wish I remembered all of the specifics, but they had messed up in the initial interview with the guy that it was in like Wired magazine or something, and then they had to retract it. And when they retracted, they were like, "We didn't mean to say that it could see through solid objects. Like that was an accident. That wasn't what the guy meant." Like you could when they tried to fix what they said, it was even worse. So and then I started doing all of this like on these academic journals that had posted on this specific type of satellite tech that they were using. They had mentioned that they could see through the forest canopy, that they could see down to the ground through the forest canopy, not just through the clouds and shit, through the
Hmm.
solid objects.
Yeah.
And then they had mentioned something about being able to see inside of walls and everything else. And they're going back to uh, early 2000s, late 1990s. Like there were academic journals being written on the production of this new satellite technology that could see into
Which
shit
if they were being written in the 90s, that means the military had it the
without a doubt.
decades before. So yeah, that's what he because whenever the guy was being the guy who wrote these journals, when he was brought into this facility, the because he was stationed at Area 51 at the time, and the guy showed him like this is what we can do. We have eyes everywhere, and he went to Area 51, and then he was shocked whenever he went right through the hangar bay into the hangar bay, and he was like you can see through it, but it was wild. And then he thought it was crazy. They had comms, they had all this stuff, like all the world leaders, everybody, like it was kind of like the United Nations. Basically, they had like everyone on speed dial. And he's like, aren't we at war? Like with some of these countries, is like that's yeah, that's all bullshit. Like we're all working together. Like
Oh, of course they are.
it's a big collective effort, and everything, all those wars, everything that's just like the surface, like dwellers, whatever.
Of course. Of course.
And uh yeah, so I mean, I can't write. I'm only halfway through book two, and there's seven in the series,
Oh, good lord.
but I can't stop reading it. I mean, I just started, and they're like 400-page books, right? So I read the first one in like 3 days. I couldn't put it down, and I ordered the second one. And while I was waiting for it to come, that's when I read that Sapapi Odyssey book, and then now I'm reading this one. But
It's all that's they sound really I like that. I'm gonna have to put that on my list since I love reading books. I love holding actual books, like not
me
on the
too.
computer. I love the smell of ink on paper. Like there's something nostalgic about that for me. I love to read. Um, that damn Denzel Washington movie, Rewinding Time as a Dog. It's so many movies that are supposed to be like science fiction. They're not science fiction. They're science fact, man. Like we
Right.
have the technology. It's crazy. Um,
Well,
Yuvonda says that's why lead paint was out and asbestos was out. Probably. I wish I
yeah,
remembered that's the name of this. I'll have to go. If I start clicking on shit, you guys know my computer will go to something will happen. But it was Capella. That was the name of the satellite company that has the tech. If you feel like digging into it, Capella.
right. And even simple stuff like when David Adair went to Area 51 in like 1971, when he went underground, he said that, they had retina scanners to get in the doors and palm scanners and things that we didn't see until the 2000s,
Right.
and they were this like old hat technology
Yeah. Now we
underground
just put
bases.
our
Yeah,
fingerprint on our phone to get in there. Like
right.
now it's nothing. Like for sure they've had that shit for a long time. Um, Elysium. That was a good movie.
Yeah,
That
it
was a good
was.
movie. Okay. We'll do a couple more. We'll do a couple more. All right.
I have one more from Aaron. He sent me
Oh,
when
Aaron. Aaron said, let me contribute my question. Do you want to do Aaron's real quick?
no, no, I just asked the question. So
I got you. Okay. What force did Chulin's son mentally project to make plant seeds grow shoots and roots in less than 20 minutes? Thanks, Keystone, for the can.
read
Um,
that again. I was reading something on my phone.
that's all
Sorry.
right. What force did Chulin's son mentally project to make plant seeds grow shoots and roots in less than 20 minutes? Was it A, a morphic field, B, harmonic essence, C, chi energy, or D, psionic waves?
Oh man, it's either A or D. I'm gonna go with A.
Final answer.
Sure. I don't know actually.
Right? Chulin San. This is crazy because there's academic research on this too. This is a wild story. Uh, Thanks, Tam Growl, for the can. Much love to you. Thanks for all the love on Foxhole tonight, guys. I appreciate you, truly. Truly, I do. I love YouTube too, and my Rumble fam love you as well. Love you as well. And Rokfin, where I will eventually post this. What up to
So
the
far,
Rokfin
so
fam?
far everybody's saying B or C,
B or
not
C?
either, and I said A or D, so I could be way
The
wrong.
answer is it's C. It's chi energy. Do you remember
Mm.
seeing the videos of the guy that could set the paper on fire in his
Hmm.
hand by
Yep.
controlling his
Yep.
chi? Right.
Yeah.
So Chulin Sun is this woman, just must have the most exceptional mind, right? Um, she's a member of the Chinese Somatic Science Research Institute and a practitioner of Wei Qi, which is a type of Qigong that teaches the practitioner how to bring the Qi energy, like of traditional Chinese medicine, under the control of the mind. She could induce plant seeds to grow shoots and roots several centimeters long within 20 minutes using the mentally projected chi energy. Thank you, Amethyst Cat, for the cookie. Um, she demonstrated this on more than 180 different occasions at universities, at science and research institutes in China, in Taiwan, in Hong Kong, and other countries, Malaysia, Thailand. They published academic papers on this. So they wanted her, they made her repeat these chi germination experiments over and over and over again. In this one particular paper I found, they had her repeat the experiment 7 times. 5 of the times succeeded. Okay. um they don't really understand the biological mechanisms that underlie the phenomena itself, because of course they're looking for a scientific answer for this. So they were looking at the number of polymorphic DNA fragments. They amplified it with different primers. They published their sequences. um, they compared the differences between the genomes of the seeds, to see if the same, and it's called an RAPD marker, if the same marker was appearing in both of the genomes. Maybe it was homogeneous sequence. Like, it's a whole thing, right? They go through this whole explanation, right? But what they found was, and this was in their conclusions to their academic paper, was that the chi energy may influence the structure of a germination correlated gene site, or some specific fragments that have close linkage with some gene related to seed germination. She actually manipulated the genes of the seeds to get them to sprout like this,
Mm.
right? And so I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. Like, that's crazy. According to earlier work, chi energy can change the structure of some cellular organs, such as the mitochondria, and also influence the metabolism of cells, is what they
Hmm.
determined.
I 100% believe that. I mean,
I don't know if it works with chia pets. Yeah, probably. Them things grow pretty fast.
probably it's just it
Right?
literally it's
Chia.
it's another word for using the force.
Right? I believe in the force. I do.
It's real,
It is totally a thing. Like, wholeheartedly believe in the force.
right?
But yeah, I kept thinking when I was reading that, I kept thinking of that dude that would. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, he only let himself be
I've
filmed the one time, but they got a
and then
lot of.
he got mad that
He
they
was
went public
pissed.
with it. Yeah,
Yes, he
and
was
he then
pissed.
just say would never do it again. Yeah, but I
He
watched the
could heal
video. Like
people.
it's legit. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it
Oh,
was
he
legit.
set
Like
that shit right on fire, like,
right.
in his hand. Just controlled
Um.
chi energy. Right? I mean, you can feel it. Even like I know Yuvonda does Reiki. Like, you're still accessing the chi. Yeah, I
Right.
mean, and if you
You
stimulate
can
certain
generate heat.
points, yeah, you
Yeah.
you can feel, like, when you start, you're doing practitioner, like, you start early. One of the early exercises where you want to activate these points in the palm of your hand, and then you can actually feel, you know what I mean, the presence of
Yeah.
that energy
Right.
between the
Hmm.
palms of your hands, which is
Oh yeah.
crazy. What up, Matthew Morning? Good to see you.
Oh, for sure.
May
He
the force
said,
also
it's
be with you,
real. It happens
Carlos.
to some people accidentally. I believe that too. Yeah. Chia.
Right? That's gonna be in my head
Oh
all
my
night
God.
now. Chia.
So my grandma, this side note, my grandma always had like this afro, right? And
Like a chia.
right, and like she still has like this round head of hair, but it just like over the years it got smaller and smaller.
Oh,
Well, one day she pulled out like she said, "Look what I found," and it was all of her old IDs, like her old driver's license. And I said, "Grandma, look at when you put them backwards, like from
it's like,
it, yeah, from oldest to youngest, it literally looks like a chia pet growing. That's the funniest thing.
oh, I love
Uh,
grandmas.
right. But it
They're
does. It's
great.
just like it keeps getting bigger every time.
Oh,
Um,
Aurora, I will pray for you. I don't know what's going on. I might have missed it, but
all right, we'll send some chi your way.
we will send some chi your way, right? For sure.
All right.
For sure.
Here's Aaron's
All
question,
right, Aaron's question.
and then that's it. And this one's maybe this one's like more of the simple. This is more the entry level.
Okay.
What was the agency that turned into the CIA in 1947? A, the Office of Strategic Services, the OSS. B, the National Intelligence Agency, the NIA. C, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Or D, the Bureau of Intelligence and Research.
Read them again.
What was the agency that turned into the CIA in 1947? A, the Office of Strategic Services, the OSS. B, the National Intelligence Agency, the NIA. C, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Or D, the Bureau of Intelligence and Research.
I'm going with A. Frightening Me also says the OSS. Thumper Rose says the OSS.
And then he said, please, Tyler. Like, come on.
Like, come on, man.
This is Aaron's question.
Right? This is definitely, if you're new here, this is a question for you, right? We should all know this. I'm probably wrong.
The answer is A,
Yay!
the OSS. The CAA grew out of a wartime agency, the Office of Strategic Services, the OSS, which was established to help win World War II. From the onset, the OSS was intended to be a temporary agency with plans to dissolve it upon the end of the war, which
It
obviously
plans to, yeah,
never
right.
happened.
That worked out real well. All
Right.
right. When do they ever dissolve agencies? Like that's all I want to see. Like just dissolve a few, just a few agencies, right? One or two, we'll be fine. We don't need 57.
Well, that's what happened with Kennedy, because
Yeah,
so
he
when
said he.
Kennedy
Go ahead.
he wanted to, so there was so many three-letter agencies at that time, and there was so much information, all these back channels of information that wasn't getting to the president, and he didn't like that. So he wanted to blanket all of the three-letter agencies under one agency, basically.
Makes
He
sense
wanted
to
to
me.
eliminate them. He wanted to eliminate them, and they shot him. And that's actually talked about in Sean David Morton's book too.
Yeah, it makes
Like,
sense to me.
like it wasn't a legitimate, like he was a legitimate threat to their whole plan.
I believe it.
And they basically like Reagan was probably the last real president before we had just actors after that, you know.
I don't know if we've ever done many Kennedy assassination questions on here. I think one time. Well, no, we might have
Maybe.
been talking about the Mandela effect because there's an argument
Oh
about
yeah,
how many
yeah,
people were in the car. Was it four or six? Like
right.
I remember there being four people.
And there's a video where the guy in the car shoots him.
Shoot, I've seen
Yeah,
that,
like the
right?
guy in the back seat shoots him,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, okay, well, where's this is crazy now. What do we
Right?
believe?
Right? Which one is it? Four or six? Who shot
Hey,
him? We don't know.
Aaron showed up for his
Oh,
question.
what up, Aaron?
I
Right?
just I
Go ahead.
just read your question, Aaron.
Right? Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Uh, temporary like taxes. I know, right?
Have you seen the what's the show 1963 or something? It's the time travel show where they go back and try to stop the Kennedy assassination.
No.
It's really good. Aaron, what's the name of that show? It's literally just a date. I think it's 1963 or something. Or
Oh wait, I feel like
it's not that. That's not the name of the
no.
show though. I can't remember it. It has. Oh my God, I'm terrible with actors too. Mm, mm, mm,
I
mm.
feel like I know what it is.
Aaron, I know you know it. What's the name of that show I had you watch where it has what's his name? Oh my God. The guy that plays on in Spider-Man, he plays
No, not sliders. You're right. It's like 11 something
it's
1963 or something like
right,
that,
right.
right?
It's called 11/22/63.
11/22/63. Yes, I have seen that.
Yes.
I need to watch it again though because it's
And
escaping me
what's
at the
the
moment.
actor's name? It's on the tip of my tongue. He's in Planet of the Apes, like the
Bro,
main
I
guy
don't.
in Planet of
I
the Apes.
didn't.
James Franco. James
James
Franco. Thank you.
Franco.
Thank you. Jeez, I freaking can't remember anything. Um, but it's really good. And in that show, they determine when they go back in time and like see how it happened, it was clearly the CIA that was plotting to do it, like to kill him.
Couldn't agree more, man.
Like we didn't know that already, but they
Right,
even like they show it.
right. Uh, yeah, November 11th, 1963. 22nd,
It's a
1963.
really good show. Like it's really good. I enjoyed it a lot actually.
Man, this has been
I
fun.
like anything to do with time travel though.
So do I. Literally anything to do with anything woo, I'm there.
Right.
Like I don't even care what it is. Like I will sit and watch anything woo adjacent, woo related every time. I have some questions left. Tyler, I think the last time we did one of these shows was like 3 months ago. I think maybe we should, if you can work it into your schedule, like maybe once a month or once every
Yeah,
month and a
let's yeah,
half.
that's fine.
I think. What do you guys think? Would you like this to be a little more often? I think we should be able to work that in.
Yeah, I can
Um,
do it.
I would appreciate that. That would be great. What else? So you've got some announcements to make. You've got a
I do.
conference coming up
Yeah,
that
the
you want to tell
conference
the
is
people about?
if anyone is unaware, I think everybody here probably is, but maybe not. We're on Foxhole too and stuff. So Journey to Truth is putting on our third conference called Rebels of Disclosure, May
Whoop whoop.
13th, May 13th through 16th in Grafton, Illinois. And we're really excited about it this year. Third time's a charm. I think it's going to be the biggest one yet. And we have a great lineup, and it's in Grafton, Illinois, which might seem like a kind of lame place, but it's actually beautiful. It doesn't even like once you're there, you don't believe that you're in Illinois.
Yeah, the
Uh,
venue's nice.
it's not just a venue. Like they have the entire grounds.
Camping
Like
grounds and
it's
all
like
kind of
there's
stuff.
acres and acres upon acres, and there's trails to the woods and lookouts over the rivers. It's amazing actually. It's beautiful there. Lots of paranormal activity. There's caves around there. There's like all this history of like this Piazza bird, like this big thunderbird. There's a lot of some people. There's a very famous UFO sighting that happened there in like the 60s or something. But anyway, um, it's a beautiful area, and we encourage anyone to come out. And if you can't make it, the there's live stream passes for $88, and
Yep,
it covers four days worth of the speakers, and you get 6 months replay. It comes with, and
that's awesome.
there's 4 day passes, 1 day passes, and all the 4 day passes come with a live stream pass. So it's going to be a lot of fun,
Yeah,
and
if
we
you
have
guys if you can go, you
uh,
should absolutely go. Um and what else? Like so for those of you that missed it at the beginning, they pulled Journey to Truth from YouTube, but they've got a Patreon, they're on Rumble, and there is a YouTube revival, right? I
yeah.
posted it in my community, or if you go to my channel, because I don't have the link, but if you go to my channel, I just posted a link. I need you guys to go and subscribe. Would warm the cockles of my heart for you guys to do so, please. Thank you, Brewbark, for the cookie. Much love. Dan Winter on you. No, I'm gonna have to check into that. I do not.
What about Dan Winter? Yeah, he's a bright guy.
They was asking, do I follow Dan Winter on YouTube? No, I didn't. But well,
Oh yeah,
Tyler
you
knows.
should. You would like his information.
Yes, this
So
is where the
yeah,
party is. Party.
Rumble, yeah, the YouTube channel is just going to be a backup. Is just going to be our main account for now. I actually didn't even want to go back on YouTube, but Aaron did it, and I was like, man, I'm like, I want to boycott that whole platform now. Fuck them. But
Right.
it's probably good. It's probably good that we're building a library back up over there, and
Yeah, it's good for
eventually,
reach, man.
right, eventually, who knows? Who knows? What'll happen, but. They could take it down again, but right now we're encouraging everybody to come over to Rumble and find us and subscribe over there. And we're getting ready to figure out X, and and
Right.
see
I
what's
saw
going
that.
on over there.
I'm able to stream to Twitter now from my thing. I mean,
Yeah.
Foxhole is my home. You guys know that. YouTube, the channel. I love you guys. Foxhole's really. I've told you for the past several years to go over to the Foxhole if you're watching on YouTube. But I can stream to Twitter now, and I do still have my original Twitter account, which is weird. So I was thinking about that as well. Right. I don't know. So
Yeah.
yeah. So hopefully we will be back in a few weeks. I'm not good with dates, and I know Tyler is. We'll figure something out, and hopefully
Yeah,
we'll
well,
be back.
we can figure out a date and set something up, definitely.
Yeah, buddy. And I'll make adequate notice so
Oh,
you guys can
and
all be here.
thank
Oh,
you, Leyland. She said she supports us on Rumble and Patreon. So yeah, we
oh,
have a
woohoo!
Patreon.
Yes, the
We have a
Patreon.
Patreon that we started. It's $5 a month. Lots of bonus content, exclusive content over there. And we do bi-monthly webinars, which we pour our heart and soul into. They end up being like 3 hours long each, but it's like a deep dive on many subjects that we all love. We've done a UFO history. We call it UFO for Dummies. We did a Voice of God webinar. What else did we do? Clones. We did a clone webinar. We did the deep underground military bases, a Hollow Earth. And then the next one, we did a poll before we lost our YouTube channel. We did a poll, and believe it or not, Q operation, the Q operation
Right?
won the poll. But I'm actually really excited about it because there's a lot of information, like things like are just, I think it's going to be good. And there's new people that are coming into this that weren't around when all that happened and going
Right.
back into it. There's like things that even I missed, and
This will be
it's
like the
really
history
interesting.
of Q. Is that what this is like? Kind of
Basically,
like
well,
a
that and then
walkthrough.
on top of like we're gonna add a whole woo element to it as well.
I love the
So
woo. If you don't incorporate the woo, I'm afraid I won't be able to.
oh, it's gonna be so woo that like some of the Q people are probably gonna throw their arms up in outrage. We're just gonna go there. We're just gonna go there like we always do, and whatever.
Right? That's cool.
People
That's
like
it's
that.
Q was not really my thing, but a lot of my people love that. If you guys do it, I'm sure they will watch. Yeah, I released the scratching. I couldn't figure out how to release the scratching there for a second, but I got it.
Yeah.
Ah, all
So
right.
anyway, yeah, we have all that going on. Thank you for allowing me to make all those
No,
announcements.
you didn't even know you had announcements, right? I had
And
to
the
remind
conference,
you.
I don't even know if I said the website, rebelsofdisclosure.com has all the information that
All
you
the
need for the
info,
conference.
right? I'll try and put it down in the
And
description.
if anybody wants to be a vendor, fill out the vendor application and
Oh,
come hang out.
is Yuvonda gonna be there?
I don't think so this year. She was there the first 2 years, but she has prior engagements this year, she said. So,
Well, Yowanda's links are in my description as well to get her super awesome. Well, and look what else she sent me. Look at this thing. It's a charging plate,
oh, damn, that's big.
right? I love
Wow.
it.
I do have one of her wands right here,
Yeah, see? Fling
the
the
amber
juju.
wand.
I love it. I haven't, so I don't know if this is amber, but
And then there was a blue one I gave to my niece, and I think I
aw.
told you that story. I gave it to her, and she was like in her mind, it's like a real working wand. And
Oh, yes. The kids come
she
over
went
all the time
home,
there,
and my sister caught her, like was watching her through the bedroom door, and she was doing this, and then she like cast a spell on the wall, and
right?
she tried to walk through the wall and ran
Aloha
straight into the
Mora.
wall. She ran straight into the
She was
wall.
convinced she was
She
going
literally
through,
thought she was
right?
opening a portal in the wall and just boom, hit her head.
Tyler, they want to know why you're not on Pilled or Fox. Why are you not streaming to the Foxhole? They want to know. I've
We
been
started.
telling, I've been telling him.
Here's what I'll be 100% honest with you right now. So whenever it first came out,
Hmm.
and I was trying to do stuff over there, but at the time I was having major tech issues. Like it
I
kept
remember.
crashing, and it wasn't just me. Like it was like
It was the platform
it
was
was the platform,
that was years ago.
and yeah, it was years ago, and I got
Hmm.
kind of frustrated with it, and then I just like threw in the towel, and I never went back to it. So I probably should
You
like go.
should.
I probably
The
should go
Foxhole
explore that.
fam is it's a cozy bunker,
Right.
sir.
Yeah.
Complete free speech, American built, right?
Right.
It's great.
It's been so long since I've been over there. I really should actually
Yeah, you can
explore
do.
that again.
They do like subscriptions. There's the gold pills. There's everything over there from music to woo channels, like politics. If you're like, I try to the
Well,
politics.
I mean,
I'm a
I don't
little.
know what it's
Eh.
like, but we did have a channel there. I mean, it
You
could
still
still
have
be
it is still there. It is still
Okay,
there.
great.
You're
So
still
we
on
have
there,
the.
right? You just
Okay, well that's
gotta
like an incentive to go back.
put in
So
your stream links, right? We'll have to ask the Mats because I don't know if you have the RTMPs and all that to get, but
yeah,
I don't know if
it's
they've
been
been
so
changed.
long, I don't even remember the whole process. But um,
But yeah,
Tiffany said it is a real working wand. Yeah, it is
clearly,
actually. Right.
right? Clearly. All right, you guys, we love you. We'll be back soon. Thank you for all of the love on the Foxhole tonight, guys. That I appreciate it. Know that. Happy birthday to Golden Crisp, and who else? Somebody else had a birthday on Roxy Boxy. Happy birthday. And much love, and we'll catch you next time.
Good night, everybody.
Well, this was fun.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah.
Are we still live? Or are we going?
Oh, we're talking over my outro music.
Okay.
Right? So many people came. I'm so excited to see all you guys.
Yeah, it was fun.
Pilled promos. He'll be back. I've been on him for like 3 years about it. They've got a great channel. Like YouTube just yoked them, which was shiesty. But
I mean, honestly, we're kind of taking this.
I love you too, Pilled.
We're kind of using this as an opportunity to like rebuild, you know.
I understand.
So I think like going to X and Build, you know, Foxhole, whatever. I think we're just kind of gonna, you know.
It's like the market. You got to diversify your investments, man. You got to diversify, right?
Well, I mean, we took a hit. We had 50,000 subscribers, now we have 10 on Rumble.
I know.
So like to even get back to where we were, it's like damn.
I know. That's rough. I can't. When I seen that, I looked at my thing and I was looking for your channel and like I'm texting you like, what the fuck, bro?
By the way,
fucking channel?
It was Foil that broke the news to us.
I did.
We didn't even know.
Oh,
I didn't know because I don't check my email all the time, you know. And I'm laying there in bed and I got the message from you. You're like, bro, where's your YouTube channel? And before I even replied, I think I replied, I'm like, it's there. And then I looked, I'm like, oh shit. Then I went to my email and it said, we removed your channel.
Yeah,
like,
fucking bastards.
Oh, no. And I'm not gonna lie, like my heart sunk into my stomach when I read that email.
I can't even imagine.
It sucked. I mean, it really sucked. But you know, we got over it. And whatever. It ended up. You know,
on to bigger and better, greener pastures, sir. Greener.
Like
pastures.
I said, they set us up for the biggest volleyball spike.
They did.
Time.
They got you guys with the woo for sure.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Much love, and we're out.